everyone. So I wanted to do a review of the Tarot Illuminati deck today. I watched Gypsy Chick's, I don't know if it was a review or if she was just sharing that she had purchased it. She had purchased the Tarot Illuminati deck and the Inner Realms Tarot at the same time. And so looking at the colors in the Tarot Illuminati deck, I decided to purchase that. And I ended up purchasing the Inner Realms Tarot without really looking at the artwork, and I don't know, that's going to be interesting. It'll be a while before I do a review on that deck because if you have the deck, you know what I mean. I don't know, I've got to think about that, but that's beside the point. So I've had the Tarot Illuminati deck for a month now, pretty close to a month, I think. Yeah, I think maybe a little bit over. And I usually wait more than a month before I do a review of a deck, but I love this deck so much and I've used it so much since I've gotten it that I feel like it's time and I know the deck well enough to do a review of it. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith knockoff, and I typically don't buy decks that are like that. I have a few that I've purchased recently that are more Rider-Waite-Smith knockoffs. But I have, and I've talked about this before, I have a lot of great honor for the Rider-Waite-Smith decks. And especially for Pamela Coleman Smith, but the symbolism just doesn't speak to me in the same way that like the Tarot of the Vampires deck or the Mary L. Tarot deck or the Ludi Lescott deck ends up working with me. I have a much freer feeling with my intuition with those decks and a much clearer channel with those decks than I do sometimes with the Rider-Waite-Smith decks. So I was surprised that I bought this deck, other than the fact that the colors were so vibrant in Gypsy Chick's video that I just felt like for that fact alone, and because I do collect decks, that I would give it a try. And I was not disappointed. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I've been using almost every day now for over 30 days. So this is definitely a deck that is going to stick around in my life and that I'll be using quite a bit. I've used it in 3 readings for clients so far, and I've had great results for it. It's been wonderful. I'm really happy with it. And so I will show you some of the artwork. This is the box that it comes in. It's a Llewellyn box. And I really actually like their boxes. So it opens up like that. I think this is so pretty. And then you can store your cards here. So if you want to store your cards in this, this is a great option. And this is a box that I will keep outside of doing this review. So I don't always do that with my boxes. In fact, usually I get rid of them because I have a small house. So I just don't have room to have all these, cheap boxes laying around everywhere. But this is a box that I will keep. This is the guidebook. Now she also has an ebook that you can purchase, like on your Kindle or whatever. I don't appreciate that. I mean, I understand from reading this book that she had to put everything, Erik C. Dunne did all the artwork, and Kim Huggens, or Huggens, I'm not sure how to say her name correctly, wrote the guidebook, and that was another reason to buy this because if you follow me, then you know that I love her Tarot 101 book. It was one of my first introductions to tarot was through that book, and I had the most amazing experience with that book, and it really charted how my perception of tarot was and how I was going to continue growing with tarot as time went on. And she really encourages journaling, and that's like one of my favorite things to do, and I think it's really, really helpful when you're working with a system like tarot to journal. So anyhow, she wrote the book, well, both books for this deck, and I knew that I had to have this just for that reason alone. So there's an ebook that she did. I think it's like $9.99, so it's not really the price. I mean, that's something that we can budget for, I guess, if we really want to get it. I just think it's not really fair because this book, I think she could have fit it in here, and now I'm really conflicted about if I need to purchase that Kindle book or not. So I wish that she hadn't done that. I wish it was all in this, but it's not, so we have to move on. So the intro part is really basic. you know, your usual spreads, but she has really great spreads, guys. And if you get her Tarot 101 book, I mean, she has some great spreads in there. And I think this is actually in Tarot 101, the planetary spread. But so she has a couple spreads, which is nice, more than just like Celtic Cross and 3-card spread. And then she talks about keeping a journal and everything about tarot. It's really great. Then she gets into astrology and the major arcana. So this is nice if you want to know the astrological signs, just like Phantasmagoria. She has that in here. It's a nice reference chart, especially if you're just getting used to that. And then she has, for the major arcana, there's large reproductions in color on the page. And then for the minor and the court cards, it's a small reproduction, but it's still in color, which is really nice. One of my favorite things about this guidebook is that there's kind of like a theme for each card underneath. So you see there's the Fool, and then underneath what I would consider the theme is the infinite possibility of chaos. So for each one, she gives you this theme, and it's a really great way to work with the cards. And it's actually something that I want to do on my own, is work up, you know, kind of a theme, a sentence that describes the card for myself, just as a creative exercise for every card in tarot. I'm actually really considering seriously doing that because I enjoy this so much. And with a few of my friends that work with tarot, I've had a lot of fun sharing the theme of the card with them, and we've all had really felt that we benefited in our tarot work from that. So then she has a long paragraph that's the card really talking to you clearly as if the card was talking to you, which I really enjoyed. And then there's the themes and concepts aspect, which is giving you keywords for the meaning of the cards, which is typical in a guidebook, and hers are very, very helpful and quite clear, I feel. And there's so much information just in this little book that you don't need to worry about purchasing the extra book, I think, unless you're really a tarot junkie, for lack of a better word, or you're really a Kim Huggens fan. I think that, honestly, you're going to be all set with this guidebook. And if you're a beginner, this is a great deck to start with. It's got the Rider-Waite-Smith symbolism, but the colors are so juiced up, and they're just so bright and in your face that they really, really get your creativity flowing and your intuition, and you can really engage with the cards. And there's actually very few that I really don't like. I find myself, for the most part, I like the cards in the deck. I'm not going to kill any card in the deck when it shows up, the way that I might sometimes with other decks. So I'm just going to turn my phone off. So I definitely think that this is a great starter deck, and it's great if you're a collector too. If you love Rider-Waite-Smith decks, then you are going to absolutely adore this deck. So this is the backing, which I absolutely love. I think it's great. It's just like, you know, the guidebook in the box have. I just love that color green with the gold. And so it does have the gilt-edged cards. My one complaint is that right away when I got the deck, as soon as I took the deck out of the box and the cards kind of peeled apart, this happened at the top right away, and I've never had that happen before. I mean, I have quite a few gilt-edged decks, and I haven't had that issue. So that is a complaint I have about the packaging, actual physical part of creating the deck, like manufacturing the deck. That's a complaint that I have. I wasn't very happy about that, but it's, you know, it's really no big deal. It's going to have wear and tear as time goes by anyhow. There's no extra cards with the deck, and she's kept the same names for all of the cards, and I appreciate that, because I think when you're working with tarot, for the most part, I feel like it's nice to stay with that same system, and I don't always appreciate it when they change the names of things. So let me start by showing you a few of the cards that I wasn't in love with the imagery. However, the colors really make up for it, and there's actually a lot of detail in this deck, which is really, really nice, like foreground and background as well. So the wheel, which I usually don't love the artist depiction with the wheel anyhow. I have a very different image of the wheel in my mind, but this is the wheel. And it just doesn't do it for me. It's just I think it feels in a lot of ways for me like the book of Daniel in the Bible, the typical depiction of the wheel. And I have a real aversion for Christianity because of my life, and so I am working on healing that, but the wheel still really like brings up that feeling of Daniel, the book of Daniel, and Revelation, etc., and it just doesn't sit well with me. Temperance is like, what is going on with the perspective in this card? And Rory Rance talked about this in her review as well. So I know I'm not alone in this. This really bothers me. Like the head is tiny, the arms, the legs, the body is huge. I have the feeling that it's a hermaphrodite, and I love that. I love that. I think it's a perfect way to look at temperance. But it's just, I just am like, why is the head so small and the body is so huge? It just bothers me. So this is probably my least favorite card in the deck. Love the fact that there's no borders. Can we all just like, yes, amazing, hallelujah. A deck of tarot cards without borders is a beautiful thing. Five of Swords. My only complaint is that the perspective is off again on this. The head's too small. It's not the correct proportion. But I do really love the sunset or the sunrise in the background. I love the colors. So it's really just the perspective that's off on that bothers me. The Hierophant is my birth card in tarot. I'm a Taurus. You know, I say this in every tarot review I do. I have a lot of expectations of the Hierophant, and I almost never like the way the Hierophant's depicted, but I understand that. And I can appreciate why people choose to depict him the way that they did. And I think in this deck, Erik Dunne in his artwork chose to depict it this way for a reason. I get it. I still don't like it. I think that we miss a lot of esoteric lore that's attached to the Hierophant when we just straight up view him as the Pope. And this is why images like the Tarot of the Vampires Hierophant and the Mary L. Tarot's image of the Hierophant is what I much prefer. So this is the Hierophant in this deck, and it's not my favorite. The Magician, I just don't like it in this deck. The imagery is great, it just doesn't... I am really visual, and so if something like just doesn't sit well with me, I have a difficult time using it as part of an intuitive process. So that's a little difficult for me. Oh, I'm sorry. He's called the Alchemist, not the Magician. My bad. She did change some of the names, or one of them at least, I believe. I have actually read the guidebook. It's just doesn't always stick with me. But she did change the Magician to the Alchemist. And I don't mind that. It makes sense to me. But I'm not in love with that image of him. So that's one. The Eight of Cups. I think this is really just my only complaint is that the Eight of Cups is a card that kind of haunts me, especially right now, and it's just not my favorite depiction of the Eight of Cups. I mean, I can think of so many other images that have really, like, they make me feel something. This one doesn't. I don't really get that same feeling, so that would be a downside. Eight of Wands. This is a cop-out, I feel like, when we do this. I mean, I get it that it's in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I know, I get it. I just think, oh my god. When I think of the Eight of Wands, I think of the Tarot of the Vampires, Eight of Scepters, and that card is so in your face, and you have an immediate reaction to it, and you are like in that image, and you're feeling those emotions, all of that action, and the discord that's going on. And I just feel like when we have an image like the Eight of Wands in this deck, it kind of just dulls it down for me, and I don't get that feeling. I don't have that same experience. So I compare everything to that deck. And that one doesn't live up to it for me. The Six of Swords. I actually like the more traditional image of the Six of Swords, as opposed to like the Deviant Moon Six of Swords, which isn't one of my favorites. But this one I don't really love. I like the fact that in a lot of depictions of the Six of Swords, you don't really see the people's faces, you see the back of them, and I find that there's a lot for us to pull from that. So I just feel that this one just didn't add up for me, in this deck. But you know, those are minor gripes. I mean, there's always cards that we don't love in every tarot deck, so I feel those are minor gripes for this deck for me. The cards that I absolutely loved, I actually have quite a few of them. And then the cards that are just great cards that I enjoy, and this is the rest of the deck. So as you can see, there's deck is a very well-rounded deck. Cards that I absolutely loved, and it's not going to show up very well in this image, is the Ten of Swords. In this video. The whole background of this scene, there's just minute detail that is absolutely incredible. This is one of the images of the Ten of Swords that I can really get involved with, and that I feel like I understand the meaning of this card just looking at it. I don't even have to meditate with it to really get the layer of meaning that's there. And you can see the ring slightly in this through the camera, but to see this card in person, I mean, I would buy the deck for this image alone. It's entrancing. It's a wonderful image. I talked about the Queen of Swords in my video on Balance with Tarot, and I love this depiction of the Queen of Swords. I mean, she looks like Queen Elizabeth, and I just love this image. There's so many layers, there's so much symbolism, and the colors are just so engaging. It's absolutely beautiful. So I usually like the Knight of Swords in tarot decks, and I wasn't disappointed with this one. He's the Prince in this deck instead of Knight. But he's absolutely gorgeous, and there's such a feeling of flow and movement and action and adventure with him. And I really love the birds in the sky above. I mean, this Erik C. Dunne, his skies are just incredible. They make you feel so much. And they're such a part of the intuitive interaction with the deck. Here's the star. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I don't normally like the kings in typical RWS reproduction decks, but this one is just, he really pulls me in. And again, the blues and the sky in the background meeting the waterline, just incredible, absolutely incredible. Princess of Swords, I love her. She is so gorgeous in this deck. Again, look at the birds. I mean, her hair, just everything about this is very Elizabethan and just gorgeous. Oh, I usually can't stand the Emperor in most decks, but I actually like him in this deck. I mean, he's really cool. And the colors, again, just really give you that feel. And I love the Ankh there, just gorgeous. I like the Nine of Swords in this deck as well. I love the colors, and again, her hair is gorgeous. Very similar to the princess. Prince of Cups. A lot of court cards that I liked in this deck. Knight, I typically don't. Beautiful. Just yummy, gorgeous deliciousness. Love this image. It's great. Perspective is a little bit off, but not enough to drive me nuts. The Death card. I don't typically like traditional interpretations either of the Death card, but I actually feel like this is clear. It's a clear image. It's a really clear image. Nudity in this card as well. The world is beautiful. Again, another time where we really benefit from not having borders. The Hermit is it's really close to being my favorite card in this deck. Just look at that. I just could look at these cards all day. You know, even divination aside, just looking at these cards, you really just have so much to gain. The High Priestess, I mean, this is the card that's depicted on the box, and you know, they chose a good one. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at the moon coming through. It's just perfect. I actually like the Empress card in this deck. I don't feel very fertile energy coming from her, but I feel an understanding of the earth coming from her, I guess, in some ways, that I appreciate. Seven of Swords, I really like in this deck. I don't know why, I just do. I like it. I like the colors he used for this. I like the feeling you get from it. Oh, Princess of Wands. Oh my god, she's so, gorgeous. Look at her. Two of Cups is really cool in this deck. I like this one a lot. Love the tree. And then this is probably one of my favorite, this might be my favorite card in the deck. And I don't typically, again, like traditional representations of the moon, but I love this image of the moon. Isn't it just, it's like, I don't know, I just move my finger. I love it. I just absolutely love this image. So those are my favorites, least favorites of the deck. I mean, other images, you know, there some of them, they are quite standard representations. Like here's the Three of Cups. And each suit has its own kind of human tribe attached to it. Like the Pentacles have a very Asian feel. With the Wands, it has that kind of, I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but almost makes me think of like Constantinople, like back in medieval times. It has that kind of Turkish feeling. A very like desert west feeling. I'm sorry, desert east feeling comes up with that one, which is really beautiful. The Swords, they have that Elizabethan feel. So it's like a time period as well as a tribe of people that you're journeying with. And I find that really interesting. And then the Cups. The Cups have this kind of more of an, maybe not English, maybe more like Norwegian feel to it. Swedish feel maybe. But medieval times, again, is what comes up for me when I look at it. But you know, it's a very pale and very white hair, not blonde, like white hair. So it kind of has that northern feel to it, which I find fascinating. So I think that that's definitely an interesting way to portray the minor arcana, and the court cards follow that same tribal feel for each element. And I definitely don't think that it detracts at all from your work with the deck. I just think it's an interesting way to do it. So all in all, this deck is worth the purchase, especially if you're a beginner. The colors in and of themselves will really engage you, and yet it's a familiar enough system that you'll feel comfortable as you get to know this deck better, using it in readings for yourself and for others. Using it for meditation will be great as well. So this is really a tarot deck that's a keeper. It's with you for the long haul. You can use multiple books with it and you're still going to be able to get something out of it, again, especially if you're in the beginning of your journey. It's a lot of fun to work with. It likes to work with people. In my experience over the past month, it's really had a lot of fun working with other people. I've used it in daily draws for the Facebook page, and it's enjoyed doing that. I think I used it for a week straight, which I don't typically do. So it definitely is a deck that is going to like to be used and will stick around with you for a while, I would definitely say. So I definitely give it a go ahead and purchase it. It's definitely worth it. It's great. I've said definitely a lot in this video, but it's true. It's definitely worth it. So I hope that you found this helpful if you're considering purchasing the Tarot Illuminati. Oh, and I wanted to add, because when I said I got this, like random people were like, oh, so it's a conspiracy deck. It's like, no, they chose the word Illuminati because of the colors and the brightness of the images and the effect that they have. It has nothing to do with any kind of conspiracy, secret organization type of thing at all. It has no association with that. So if you're concerned about that, looking at the deck, then, don't worry about it. That's not what it's about. It's really just about the colors and the impact of the colors with the images and the symbolism that pulls you in. And I didn't even think about that when I bought it. I was just thinking about, I saw Gypsy Chick's video and I was like, wow, the colors are gorgeous. I need to have this deck in my collection. So it's definitely worth a purchase. I just said definitely again, didn't I? Anyhow, I hope you're all doing well and that January is treating you all kindly and finding you all, clearing some space away. I am hoping to do more videos. I have a few weeks here where my work schedule and my reading schedule is not as crazy as it has been. So hopefully you'll see more videos and we'll get to interact with each other more. And many, many blessings and much love. See you all soon. Bye.